Hi everyone, I'm Ashika. If you're new here, welcome. I moved to the UK from India 4 years ago with my family, and we now live in a lovely town in the UK, and so does our son. He goes to school here. And I know everyone's experience is different, but my intention with this video is to help you get a balanced perspective so that you can make the best decision for yourself if you're considering moving to the UK. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and you can follow me on Instagram for more updates. And with that, let's dive in. Let's start with some honest cultural differences between the UK and the rest of the world, especially India, because I'm from there. In the UK, people value privacy and personal space a lot more. It's normal not to know your neighbors well, or for people to keep conversations quite formal, which is probably quite different from where you come from. In India, depending on which city or town you've lived in, there's a real sense of community. Your neighbors might just show up for chai unannounced, which would be considered unusual in the UK. I lived in Bangalore for 3 years. Now, everyone knew everyone, so you stop by people's houses to check up on them, to catch up with them. Then I moved to Bangalore, and your neighbors didn't quite stop by, but you always had friends or even colleagues just coming over, and you always welcome people into your home. Not with the British. I've known people here for years and I've hung out with them, but I've never really been to their houses, a lot of their houses. Next, the British are famously polite, but also very direct about certain things. Speaking politely is very important. You'll hear more pleases and thank yous in the UK than in any other part of the world. And queuing up is a big part of everyday life. You'll queue up to pay at the counter, to use a restroom, to even board the tube. Public transport etiquette is usually strict, and people expect some amount of silence, especially on trains and buses. So while you may have been used to talking on the phone in the train back home, please use headphones if you're in the UK and speak softly. You know, once I was in the emergency section of a hospital and there was a non-British person there and they were accompanying somebody to the hospital. While they were there, they decided to watch something on their phone on speaker. I genuinely got secondhand embarrassment because everyone in the emergency department was so annoyed with this person. They got told off twice and they still kept watching on speaker. Dude, please don't. Next. Food culture is extremely different. While you'll find Indian restaurants everywhere, things like street food culture are not the same here. Some places have street food. It's not as cheap as back home, so it will take some adjusting to. Now, where you live determines your experience. Some places are very welcoming of foreigners as long as you respect their norms. Other places don't like foreigners. London, for instance, has a lot of cultural diversity, but it also comes with small amounts of racism in pockets. We stay in a town where mostly everyone's nice and we don't really have any challenges. The weather, well, I cannot stress this enough. The UK weather can be gloomy, grey and rainy for long stretches. For some people, this causes SAD or seasonal affective disorder, which is a type of depression, and you'll need to consult a doctor if that happens to you. Finally, education and parenting styles here focus a lot on encouraging children to develop independence from an early age. Children, for instance, sleep early here. They sleep at around 7:30. And there's a keen focus on overall growth and not just education in school. Sports, for instance, plays a big role here. Now, let's talk about salaries and earnings. The average UK monthly salary after tax is roughly around £3,000 to £4,000, which is about $4,000 to $5,000. In India, the average net monthly salary is much lower, around 55,000 rupees, which is roughly around 650 to 800 USD. In the US, the average monthly take-home salary is much higher, around $5,000 to $7,000, depending on your location and the industry. In Canada, it's around $3,500 to $4,000 per month. But remember, high salaries in countries like the UK or USA often come with higher living costs as well. So that is something you would need to factor in. So let's break down those costs of living. The UK is significantly more expensive than India, about 5 to 6 times higher for basic rent, groceries, and transport. For example, the average cost of living per month in India is around $400 to $500 excluding rent. In the UK, it's around $2,300 to $2,500. Compared to the USA, the UK's living costs are slightly lower than major US cities, but housing in London rivals New York or San Francisco. Germany is somewhat cheaper than the UK for rent, but similar for food and transport. Canada is similar to the UK, though housing may be cheaper outside Toronto or Vancouver. Now, healthcare is a huge factor. In the UK, you get access to the NHS, which means most of your medical needs are free at the point of use. The challenge, however, is that the wait times are very long. Regular appointments can have a wait time for about 2 weeks, or if you visit the emergency, the wait time is around 6 hours on weekends. Doctors' clinics are shut on weekends, and so are most pharmacies in towns. In India, however, healthcare quality varies. Good private healthcare can be expensive, but is still far cheaper than in the UK for most treatments. The USA's healthcare can be extremely expensive. Medical insurance is essential and can cost hundreds of dollars per month. Many still face high out of pocket costs, even with insurance. In Canada, healthcare is free for residents but funded by taxes, similar to the NHS in the UK. But like with the UK, the wait times can be really long. Now, when it comes to jobs, job prospects will depend hugely on your field. The UK offers strong opportunities in sectors like finance, IT, healthcare, engineering, and academia. But there is a lot of competition and visa rules can change very rapidly. India has a rapidly growing job market in tech, startups, business process outsourcing, but average salaries are a lot lower and competition is very high. The USA traditionally offers high salaries and some of the best opportunities for skilled migrants, but the visa process is very complex and very uncertain. Canada is actively encouraging skilled migration with open programs and consistent demand for healthcare, tech, and trades. So, how do you decide if the UK is the right choice for you or not? Well, you need to make a list of what matters most. Is it salary? Is it the quality of life? Is it healthcare, cultural fit, or education for your children? Research your visa rules. Are you eligible? Are there pathways to permanent residency open? You also need to consider your career prospects by your industry. Think about your support system. Will you have family or friends nearby? Weigh the value of public services, which is education and healthcare, versus the out-of-pocket expenses. And finally, talk to people who have already made the move because, in all honesty, there is no better way of getting a first-hand account or experience unless you talk to people. My advice, no place is perfect. Well, the UK might be ideal for some, for us, for instance, and probably not a good fit for others. Think honestly about what your priorities are, do your research, and make an informed choice. Since we moved to the UK, we have known people who moved at a similar time as we did, but they moved back to their home country simply because they felt the UK did not meet a lot of their requirements. So it's not one shoe size fits all, so you'll need to think about this very carefully. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any specific questions about moving to the UK or any country, let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.